What's up, brewskis? My name is Marco Dupa, and with me, as always, the great and powerful Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
We're back, baby.
We are back.
So back.
We are back. We are back.
I thought you were doing Oprah for a second. We're back.
Tonight's brew is from Sierra Nevada, and it is their Oktoberfest Festbier. We are finally in the season, so get ready for some pumpkin ales and some Festbiers, baby.
It's the best time of year.
That's right.
Love it.
What's on tap for tonight? We've been gone for a little bit, so there's some stuff that we need to catch up on. Actually, we're just gonna skip the stuff that we weren't around for. You know,
You guys don't care about it anymore.
Yeah. So
why would we talk?
You
about
don't
it?
care. We don't care. That's how news goes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about some stuff that's been happening lately, such as the PS5 Pro announcement.
Mm-hmm.
We got prices. We got a schedule for when it's coming out, and we got opinions.
Yeah.
And we're gonna share it all.
Yeah. Transitioning from that, we got our old friend Dr. Disrespect.
Old Doc.
Back in the news
The Doc
yet
is back
again.
in the building.
Yeah, he's made his not so triumphant return. So we have some things to talk about.
And we'll transition out of that into some music-related news, and as well as just national news. The Super Bowl halftime show has been announced, and it's our good old friend, Kendrick Lamar.
Guy.
It's not Lil Wayne. Sorry. It's not Lil Wayne.
It's not Lil Wayne.
And we're going to talk about that because people had opinions.
They
certainly
a lot of
had
opinions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To wrap it up, we're going to be talking about Linkin Park back in the news with a new front person named Emily Armstrong, who has come in with some controversies.
Some more controversies, baby.
So they had all of maybe 12 hours where everything seemed fine, and suddenly not so much.
Man.
So we'll talk a little bit about that.
I bet you they was riding high when they first made that announcement, thinking
Saw
like,
all the
here we
excitement and swiftly removed the next day.
So let's get into it, friends. Let's
Yeah.
crack these babies open and let's have ourselves a good time. I'm bringing that back. It's 437 of the One Beer In podcast. Yeah.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place where I fit in.
Wow. Such a weird word.
You're here.
To fapping.
To fapping. Fap you very much.
Happy Fapiversary.
Oh,
Oop. That didn't work. And that's why I should stop with that joke.
it's true. That's God.
That
telling
also
you.
didn't work. All right, kids. This is the One Beer In podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew, and we see where that one brew takes us. I'm Marco. That's Adam.
That's right.
Let's get ripping and rolling. You got a little bit more about what we're drinking tonight?
I was banking on a cold read on the can, which I don't have. So I'm looking it up right now.
Tisk, tisk.
I apologize. It's
Tisk, tisk.
it's our first time back in a few weeks.
Uh-huh.
So knocking the rust off, if you will. Here we go. Here we...
You got it?
Yes, I am 21.
Yes. Yes, you are.
I do.
Okay. Here we go.
I have it.
So, Adam, you got a little bit more about what we're drinking
I
tonight?
sure do, buddy. This is a seamless transition.
Uh-huh.
This is a Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest Festbier collab edition with Gutmann.
Gutmann.
This is their 2024 version, and it goes as follows, according to SierraNevada.com. Our authentic Oktoberfest is a collaboration with Brauerei Gutmann, an iconic German brewer that has been family-owned since 1707. This classic fest beer is smooth and balanced with biscuity malt flavor and a clean finish. Prost!
Prost.
So it looks like they do a collaboration every year with someone different for their Oktoberfest. And yeah, so I find that interesting. I didn't realize that. 6% ABV. All you gotta know.
Oh, you gotta know.
Here.
All right, well, let's get in with the first thing. The PS5 Pro. The long-rumored and waited for update. I guess, like, halfway kind of guy. PlayStation has been doing this, like, Pro thing. Or
Since
like this.
PS4?
Yeah. So,
It used to be mini. Remember when we had mini consoles?
Yeah.
And then people stopped caring about that?
Yeah. I mean, it was a silly thing for us to care about in the first place. It was there was a whole thing where we cared a lot about shrinking things.
Yeah.
Like the smaller they were, for some reason the better the tech, at least in our minds.
Oh yeah, I mean that was when we were getting the iPhones and stuff.
Yeah.
And realizing, we can have like basically a computer in our pocket
Right.
nowadays.
We could just pack it into one little thing.
Crazy.
So
Yeah.
and I just think about like the GameCube disc. There's
mini disc, yeah.
There's a moment
PSP,
and
right?
PSP had that that very ridiculous like disc in a case thing.
Yeah.
There's a moment in Men in Black where K, he's showing Jay all of the artifacts and stuff that they've collected as to how they pay for the organization. and he's right before Jay knocks the ball out of the thing and it like goes crazy. Yeah. Right before that, he's like, "Oh, check this out. This is a cool little thing." And it's a disc that looks like it's the size of a quarter. And he's like, "These will replace CDs pretty soon, which means I'm gonna have to buy the White Album again," which I thought was really cute. But also, like, that's what we thought of technology.
Yeah.
Was like it's just gonna get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Who knew that what we were actually going to do is go back to fucking vinyl and get like everything was just going to get larger.
Yeah. Keep your White Album on vinyl.
Right.
Please. It's fine.
Right. It's okay.
Yeah.
So the PS5 Pro is what PlayStation has returned with before the PS6, which everybody's already been kind of talking about. Like,
sure.
Because of the pandemic, the time frame has been kind of skewed.
It feels much shorter to me, at least.
Yeah.
Than we're used to with these console releases.
Yeah. Because I thought for a long time that, because I got my PS5 a little bit later, still had it for a little while.
Most people did.
Right. And that's why a lot of people are like, dude, I just got my hands on this thing. I have just been able to get my hands on this thing. And they're already talking about a Pro and the PS6. What are we doing? Yeah. So the lifetime of the PS5 has been like, 7 years almost? 6-7 years at this point?
Something like that, yeah.
So it's like, it's not that insane to think about maybe like 6 years. When did it come out? 2019 or
I think it was 2019.
Okay.
I think.
We could easily look that up too.
There's no way.
There's talking about the technology in our hands.
Possibly do that.
How?
I do remember the trouble with getting it like as close to day one as possible. For me, I was literally
November 12th, 2020. So
okay,
it's so
2020, yeah.
I mean, 4 years.
Okay,
basically.
Yeah,
that's a long time though.
Well, for technology, not to mention the fact that things are only getting better as far as computing faster.
Yeah,
that's just the way that things are going. So that means instead of a 10-year life cycle, really it's more like 4.
Yeah. Yeah, you want a longer, or at least you think you're going to get a longer life cycle, but now with the way the technology goes, it's like...
it's far shorter.
4 or 5 years.
Because things are so much better, faster now.
Yeah.
So, the people who care about that kind of stuff, you got dads out here with the iPhone 10 still, and it's fine. It still works for them. You don't have the newest camera and whatnot, and it may be slow, but
there's still people with the PS4
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
You know, there's still people who are like, listen, I'm still rocking the PS4. I didn't even get a PS5 yet. Like, but if you haven't gotten a PS5 yet, I don't know what to tell you. It is pretty easy to get one now.
Well, if it's not a financial thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Yes.
the major headline coming out of this announcement of the PS5 Pro is the cost, which is $700 in the U.S.
Yes.
$699. So
I don't know if you guys heard him, but he said $700.
Right. And it's
USD.
It should be mentioned that it doesn't come with a disk drive, which is sold separately for $80. So really, if you want the same capability as, obviously not tech-wise, but the same capability as a standard PS5 with the disk drive, you have to pay $280 more.
Yeah.
So, tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
We should say what comes with the PS5 Pro, which they also announced, obviously, in this pretty short announcement segment.
Yeah. Do you have all the specs pulled up?
I do. See, I prepare a little bit.
A little bit.
According to IGN, upgrade GPU, 67% more compute units, excuse me.
67 more computations.
Yes, 28% faster memory. Overall, this enables up to 45% faster rendering of gameplay, making the experience much smoother.
Ooh.
Advanced ray tracing. I mean, that's exactly what it sounds like. It looks nicer. AI-driven upscaling. This is a pretty big one of it. They called these the big three, by the way. That's how they presented it in the segment. Yeah. It says AI-driven upscaling that uses a machine learning-based technology to provide super sharp image clarity by adding an extraordinary amount of detail. So essentially, like, if the frames aren't there, it kind of assumes what's happening in there to make it smoother. That's my understanding of it.
Okay.
Please comment if I'm incorrect.
Yeah, because also I was really confused about that one. Like, I don't really understand what that...
Well...
the game should be built out. What do you mean computer learning technology is going to continue to build the game?
Kinda. It's gonna show essentially an assumption of what is happening on screen to make it smoother. So you see that in TVs nowadays, and it looks like crap. But that's because...
Wait, how can you see that in TVs?
So there are, like my TV, for the Sony TV, by the way, it has this technology built in that is essentially like smoothing. So it, based on what's the images on screen, it kind of makes an assumption and fills in the gaps for the frames that aren't there. So it can make a 24 frame movie look like it's more like 60 frames.
Why?
You know? I don't know, because they can. I don't know. I mean, but I don't want to use that as the prime example of what this is going to look like, because there is a major difference between watching a movie or a TV show and playing a game.
Yeah.
You want a game to feel and look as smooth as possible. Yeah. Most of the time.
Yeah.
So this is a net benefit, obviously. It's going to make it look better. They showed a side-by-side, too, with a few games that are already out there. And it looks good, like it looks like it does make a difference, and it is a pretty obvious one to anyone who cares about this kind of stuff. I just think most people don't really care about this kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'll cut to the chase here. Is this thing for me? Is it exciting for me? No, absolutely not. I don't care. I don't care to have this thing. I mean, like, by the time I would even be interested in getting it, I'm sure the PS6 is going to be out.
Right.
So I'd rather hold on to my PS5 as long as, fingers crossed, they last,
Right. Are they going to up-res all of the PS5 games that I've already purchased?
There is a list of games that are compatible with the PS5 Pro.
Yeah, and so that's bullshit.
Yeah. It seemed like one of their main goals, at least in the PS5 Pro, other than to make money, is to make it so you don't have to make the choice between fidelity mode and performance mode. That was like the main selling point, from what I could tell. in
Okay.
that presentation. It's
Yeah.
like, look, we know it's a hard decision to make when you're starting a game. We want to make the technology good enough that you don't need to make that choice anymore.
I don't even think it's that hard of a decision. I always look at it like, okay, is this a game that I am not going to take it that seriously and I want it to look pretty? Then I'll pick the fidelity mode. But if it's like a performance game, like if I'm playing like a multiplayer game or something, I pick performance.
Or like an action game that you need like the Twitch physics to
Yeah, like
to play on.
To me, it's a pretty easy decision, but
Yeah.
it is interesting that we've gotten to a point where we have to make that decision. And if you have technology that makes it so that you don't, that is a net positive for sure. But asking people to, especially, who is this for? Okay, again, let's just take it back for a second. Who could this possibly be for? Because
niche, very niche.
yeah, it's only to me for people who really care about that sort of thing, like you said. Also, somebody who's pretty wealthy, somebody who can drop $800 and not really feel it.
Yeah.
And that's just not where I don't think 99% of the country is and the world.
Sure, now especially, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the time.
Yeah, so it's it's so funny that PlayStation, or Sony rather, has now done this twice.
Yeah.
Dropping the PS5 in the middle of the pandemic.
Yep.
And then telling people like, good fucking luck if you can find it anywhere. And now doing this.
Oh, lest we forget the PS3 release.
Right.
Was it $599 US?
Dude. Yeah.
And people were like, huh?
Like, what do you... Yeah. I mean, that essentially pushed me to Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
For a long time. And me like...
It pushed a lot of
Right.
people to Xbox.
So that you can point directly to that as to why everyone played the PS2, Xbox 360, then back to the PS4.
Yeah.
Because it's such a common story, and it's like, yeah, man, I'm not going to spend $600, especially when a comparable console is out there for, what was it, like $4?
The competition definitely snatched up that opportunity. Did everything they needed, which is what a lot of people are saying now about what Nintendo has the opportunity to do with the rumored Switch 2.
Yeah.
So
it's like that Family Guy meme when they all put their hands in and shit. No, not you, Seamus. Oh, okay. Like, Nintendo has lost that footing forever. Not unless they come back and they're like, guess what?
We have the best
stuff
out.
We're back in the console game for real.
It's $200 less than the PS5 Pro.
Yeah. I have the list of games that have PS5 Pro support so far. Alan Wake 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Demon Souls, Dragon's Dogma 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Gran Turismo 7, Hogwarts Legacy, Horizon Forbidden West, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I'm playing that now, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, The Crew Motorfest, The First Descendant, and The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. The heavy hitters.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So, yeah, I guess my point about who is it for is it's certainly not for people who currently own a PS5. Because if you waited, if you couldn't get one, and then you squeezed your pennies together to finally get one, just to get smacked in the face 2 years later with a $300 bump in what you spent on the first one, just so that you don't have to pick between fidelity and performance mode. I don't really know what Sony is thinking with this. I just really feel like they should have just waited a couple more years.
Sure. Yeah.
Did whatever fixes software and hardware that they could do to the PS5 currently, and then just move on to the PS6.
Yeah, I feel like this should be a very limited release, and it should be, focused. They should focus on those niche gamers who want it all, and the the whales of the fandom that have the money to spend. Because otherwise, I really don't see the appeal for this thing. Because if you're really that into having like the best gaming experience there is graphically and you're having as many games at your fingertips as possible, you're a PC gamer.
Yeah. Right.
You're investing your money in that.
Right.
Because it's modular. You can choose exactly what specs you want.
Yeah.
You can upgrade at your own will. You don't have to worry about, buying this prepackaged thing that has technology that's a couple of years old already. Mm-hmm. And there's only benefit to that, So I don't, again, like you're saying, I don't really see who this is for other than the people who aren't who are explicitly not PC gamers because they're afraid of that world, but also want the latest in technology, et cetera, and have the money to burn. That's it.
Do you know what this does do, though?
What do this do?
This scares the shit out of me. That's what it does. Because now I'm like, okay, the PS5 Pro is, $780 with the disc drive and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What the fuck is the PS6 going to cost?
That has been the other question being asked on the internet now.
I mean,
this has opened a can of worms. So I'm going to go ahead and make an educated guess here, okay? I'm going to say it's going to be $999. I think it's going to come out in about 2 years, maybe 3. And that's going to be the running rate for a new console moving forward. It's going to be $1,000. They're going to try to justify it by saying this is a PC level experience. You're paying at least $1,000 for even a run-of-the-mill gaming PC.
But I'm not, though. That's why I get a console, because I don't want to spend that much money.
But they will force you to, my friend.
Like hell, they
that will be the barrier for entry.
Like, this is
at
it.
that point.
This is it for me.
Yeah.
Okay, until
I'm gonna be watching movies
until I come into some kind of like fat sum of money.
Sure.
Or my life drastically changes, or the economy drastically changes. I am at a point now where
the dollar gets real strong.
Right.
Real strong.
That's it. I'm done. Mark my words. I'm done. I have a pretty advanced iPhone. It's the iPhone 15.
Yeah.
And I had the iPhone 11 for a long time until I went from 11 to 15. So I didn't upgrade until we got here.
Yeah.
And I saw the iPhone 16. I saw everything on that, and I saw the price point for that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm good.
This is fine.
I'm going to be good with this probably until the iPhone 20.
Yeah.
Till we get to a point where they brick my phone.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Oh, they certainly will. Don't worry.
And well, they already discontinued sales of it. They're not going to make any more iPhone 15s.
Yeah.
So they already did that. And as far as like the PlayStation is concerned, like, again, I just got my PS5. In the grand scheme of the life of these things, I just got it.
Yeah.
And I haven't played nearly as many games as I really want to. And honestly, I don't have the time anymore to play that many video games. So
right. Why invest more?
Yeah.
When you don't have the time to play what you currently have.
$1,000. I mean, this is to say that your assumption, which it probably is correct. Let's just say, let's say on the more conservative end, it's comparable to the PS Pro. And it's $800.
How could it be?
It shouldn't be. It can't be. Not by market standards. It can't be the same price, because then you're going, well, what the fuck am I? What am I buying?
They can't.
It can't be.
That.
It can't be.
That. Yeah.
Even if it was worth that, even
Right.
if the specs in it were worth that, you can't charge the same price.
No.
So I just can't imagine my life where I would spend that much money and then use it to its fullest capabilities.
Yeah.
This just isn't for me. And it's also like, I'm not going to have a child and then buy $1,000 console for them.
Sure.
Like, I just don't know. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Let's just get to a standard price of things and just call it a day. We already let them get away with $70 video games.
Yeah.
And they're talking about like, hey, listen, man, they're actually worth way more than that. And we're cutting you guys some slack.
My friend, we are at the precipice for paying $100 for video games.
God damn.
It's going to happen. Like, it's inevitable. I mean, in a way, it makes sense that things cost more over time. That's just the way things go. But you have to make it again, this is a feelings not facts situation.
Yeah.
Where the consumer needs to feel taken care of. They need to feel like they're getting their money's worth.
Right.
especially now that things are kind of hard economically. You need to go above and beyond to prove to people why they should scrum up their money and maybe not go out to dinner a couple of weekends in order to save enough to either buy your game or go see your movie or buy your brand new console.
Yeah.
Your upgrade to a console you already bought a few years ago. Like, these things require so much more leverage now.
Yeah.
And I have faith that the marketplace will adjust itself accordingly, because people who can't afford these things aren't going to buy them, and it'll work its way out. But strategically, I think this is a big mistake from PlayStation.
I think if you're gonna make, I think that the part of the problem is you want to be basically a PC. You want to have these PC specs. You want to tell people look, this is basically PC gaming. You know what? The biggest advantage to PC gaming is having
superiority
control.
complex.
Obviously,
It's worth the money alone.
Number 2 to that,
Yeah.
is the freedom to customize.
Yeah. Make it your own.
So if Sony was like, here's the PS Pro, and now you can take it apart at your leisure.
Yeah. Make it modular.
Then
They kind of did that already with the SSD.
sort of
A little bit.
It was kind of
A
like
little
it
bit.
made everybody feel good about opening up and unscrewing it and being like, I put it in and I got more memory. Look at me, Dad. I told you I could do it.
I chose the memory.
Yeah.
And I put it in there.
And that was fun.
Yeah.
That was that nice little boost of serotonin that I got.
I mean,
that
maybe
felt good about.
Maybe that's the training wheels for the eventual place that we're going to get to with console gaming.
But if we get there, then that could justify these prices.
Sure.
But if you were telling me that I have to spend, $1,000 on a thing that I can't even customize,
Right.
it's bad enough that this fucking hunk of shit. Sorry, I didn't mean that. I can't.
He meant that.
I can't customize this thing.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's just okay. Okay, all right. It's stressing me out thinking about it. I just don't like looking forward to.
It's okay.
You're right.
Have some more of that beer.
You're
It's
right.
all right. It's going to be okay. I mean, I get it. But, at that, there is something to console gaming. There is something to console gaming, and the reason why it has been so successful is because it isn't that complicated.
Yeah.
You buy the box.
It's for dum-dums.
It is. You buy the box. You know that when the games you buy have the symbol on it, you can play it on your box.
Right.
It just works.
Buy
It's
box,
fine.
turn on box, play box.
Play box. Yeah.
That's what the Xbox should be.
The play box.
The play box.
Yeah. I'll show you a play box.
I'll play with your box. I'll box that box.
No response from Sherry.
None. We're not even. Are we this rusty? We don't even get a response from you.
Please. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, great.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. That makes it.
I
Makes
heard
it better.
it was just really bad.
It's great.
It just wasn't a good joke. What do you mean? What is that? From life? Oh, right. Oh, the story that wasn't told on the podcast, so nobody has any
it's good.
context for.
I'm glad we're hashing this out right now.
Yeah, everyone gets it.
Yeah, that's
Right,
good.
right.
Cheers to that.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else about the PlayStation?
Let's move on. We have much happier things to talk about.
Right. Like Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know. It's fun for me to take him down a peg.
Well, sure. I mean, he needs to be.
I just don't like how arrogantly he came back.
Well,
I mean,
okay.
I know he couldn't come back with his sunglasses in hand going, sorry guys, like he did when he cheated on his wife the first time. But
with not a minor as far as we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the funniest thing about this entire thing. A horrible situation, obviously. But the funny part is him fighting these allegations. If you don't know what happened with Dr. Disrespect, he's allegedly...
Listen to our Dr. Disrespect episode.
Sure. Catch you up real quick. He, I was going to say allegedly, but he admitted to as much. Inappropriately texting or messaging with a minor.
Yeah, but I don't know if you heard his latest statement. He was fooling the media when he admitted to that.
40 chess, you know.
Yeah, that's why he deleted the tweet, because it was like, you guys are so stupid.
He put the word minor in there and then deleted it to make sure that, you know, the journalists were actually paying attention.
But then he put the word minor back in
He put it
there.
back, yeah, and then, you know, it makes perfect sense.
4D chess, babe.
Definitely. But what I was going to say was the funny part is he's going about this as his character of Dr. Disrespect.
That is the best part about
which
all
is
of this.
incredible.
Yeah, he stayed in character to talk about...
He did not break kayfabe in talking about inappropriately messaging a minor.
Which, I mean, you just kind of have to... You kind of have to just give it up to a guy who... I mean, he's definitely... He's gone, right? He's off the plantation. There's no coming back from this.
Yeah.
Multiple times being caught cheating on his wife.
He's in his own sunken place.
Yeah. It's actually kind of amazing. Let's see.
Like, I'm not sure how, like, you as a human being just excuse yourself and are able to even put on that facade to act that arrogant still, you know? Like, I mean, honestly, that takes talent. I hate to say it, but I couldn't do that.
Well, I don't know if I would say talent, but it definitely takes a
mental illness.
Yes,
if not talent,
an amazing lack of humility and
self-awareness
empathy and self-awareness.
A support system. I don't know. People keeping you in check.
So hold on, I'm trying to find this.
Well, he's been going back and forth online now too with people that are responding to him in kind, which has been interesting.
So they're saying that, like, there's this new game called Deadlock.
Yeah,
it's a new multiplayer.
Is that the one that his team worked on?
No, that's Dead Drop. This is Deadlock.
Excuse me.
Fucking moron.
Obvious, that's my bad.
So they're saying that he jumped into the game, and then while he was playing, once people realized it was him, they kept leaving. So he's confused. He's like, "Why is this game?
This game sucks."
Yeah, it's like it's so empty. Nobody's even playing this game, and it was because everyone just kept leaving.
Right.
I'm trying to see if anybody has if anybody reported on his numbers. I would like to see, because here, okay, I'll just stop looking at that because it's kind of a waste of time. But I guess the thing, I was trying to find his numbers because I was trying to see, like, how successfully he came back to streaming, because he came back, he had this really awkward he started the stream and he spent like 15 to 20 minutes talking about how he fooled the media.
Yeah, sure.
And how, you know,
his 4D chess moves.
He wasn't actually sexting with a minor and
Right.
all this stuff and you know, whatever. But he was back enough that his fans were like showering him with donations and welcome back, Doc, and we knew this stuff was bullshit and all this stuff. So with streamers they're a different kind of beast altogether, right?
Yeah.
Because they're famous because they have thousands of people who will tune into their stream and sit on their stream for like hours on end.
Yeah, cult of personality. You get that. What's the relationship? The
parasocial.
parasocial.
relationship.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
You feel like you know them personally.
Right. And he's making money hand over fist because these people think that they think that they know him,
Yeah.
and they
The
believe
Doc
in
I
him
know
and everything.
wouldn't do that. So
Exactly.
I knew he was innocent.
Which is, first of all, before I finish my point, I do think that it is so ironic that fans would be like, see, I knew he couldn't do it, because in the back of their mind, they do have to admit that if he had done what he did, which he did,
yeah,
because he admitted to it,
he said he did.
then they would have to admit to themselves that he is a sicko, right?
Yeah.
And so when he comes back and he says, nah, I was just kidding, they were like, see, told you. There's no way that my doc would actually do that thing. And it's like, he did do it. And I know that it pains you
to admit that,
but he did do it.
But here's the thing too, though. Even if he were to just not talk about it ever again, they would still accept, the vast majority would still accept him and minimize what he did for him.
Right.
And say, oh, she was probably 17. What's the age of consent in the state that it happened? You see that argument happening all the time, and it's bonkers.
Bro, the fact that he said the age of consent and everyone was like, hey, man, we thought nothing sexual was going to happen.
Right.
In your statement, you were like, there was never any plans for any sexual things to take place.
Yeah.
Then why do we care about the age of consent? She doesn't need to consent to anything if you weren't planning on doing anything,
Sure.
right, man? Isn't that the whole point?
Or if the nature of the messaging,
wasn't sexual in
inherently
nature.
sexual. Right.
So you have to, it's one or the other, dude.
And then people are like, release the messages.
Just let's see the tapes.
And he's like, what do you think I am in second grade?
Right. And that didn't make any,
No,
makes
that was
zero. Like, what are you talking about?
Horrible.
Release the messages. What are we in second grade? No, but you're probably attracted to a second grader.
I mean, he made it too easy.
He really did.
He made it way too easy.
I mean, that one was just like, it was just open. He just, oop, and everyone was just like, second grader.
Booyaka.
So, yeah. I guess the crazy thing about this is that he came back and did the numbers that he did, and I wonder how consistently he's going to be able to do those numbers. Because the thing is, and I get the point that I was making before was that, like, you don't, as a streamer, have to worry about casual fans.
Right.
Casual people don't come into your stream and donate $5, $10, whatever. Like, your fans sit there and he didn't lose enough fans for it to matter. So at the end of the day, we can say whatever we want, but as far as they're concerned, case closed.
He's still got a career.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to, maybe even impossible for him to monetize on any actual streaming site unless he goes to, like, Kick or something.
Sure.
Which Kick is...
He will.
It's there for criminals. Like, they're,
will.
you know. So... Yeah, I mean, this is really just a countdown to him going to Kick, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because he's applying for, from what I saw, on YouTube.
Yeah.
So he can't go to Twitch. Banned for life. Can't monetize on YouTube currently. Really, the only thing that's left is Kick if he wants to make like big partnership money.
It is inevitable.
But as far as I know, they had already offered him a contract and he denied it to be on YouTube, I believe, or that might be the Microsoft one that was out a couple years ago.
Well, if and when he gets denied by YouTube for reinstatement into their paid program, he's gonna go. He's gonna go to Kick.
Yeah,
because it's a platform made for PDF files. Sorry, if you no, actually, I'm not sorry. I take it back.
Sorry.
Okay. You busy?
Apologies. I got an important text.
Okay.
But I'm sorry. That's
fine. That's fine. I mean, we're just on the air. I mean,
no
big deal.
I apologize.
It's not a problem for you guys, right?
Yeah, they're fine with
it. The dead air is fine. Yeah.
They're good. Like they're listening, but they're not really listening.
No.
You know,
they would have paused right now anyway.
Yeah, it's just kind of on in the background. As they're driving
Everybody,
somewhere.
Why don't you check your texts right now? take this moment.
Everyone.
I know it's itching in your pocket. I know. Give it a second.
All right, I'm sorry.
Give it a look.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Are we good? Everyone good? Everyone check their texts? Yeah? Are we good? Okay.
All right, we're back.
Okay, good.
Okay. PDF files.
Yeah. Dr. Disrespect.
Dr. Disrespect.
I mean, that's basically all we can say about it right now, and until like anything else happens with him. But like I said on our last episode that featured him, he's going to be around. His career is far from over because, again, the cult of personality, the people who will excuse him for anything he does, and the fact that he can make money elsewhere. He is going to go wherever the money takes him. Simple as that. It's not. He's never going to be as big as he was, but he'll just turn racist or something, and
and then that'll be enough.
He'll find his own niche.
He'll go alt right. Yeah, and then I mean his character's already kind of geared towards that anyway.
A little bit.
All it really takes is for him to just drop a
little tweak, just tweak it a little bit, and you're right there. Yeah.
So, it is just really sad though, just thinking about how much people are so full of shit when it comes to stuff like this. Like how much they pretend to care about things like this.
Yeah.
And then turn around and be like, yeah, but when it's somebody that I like, ooh. I can't really stand on my morals when it's someone I'm a fan of.
Ooh. Yeah.
Also, I just think it's really weird when people donate to streamers in the first place, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I think it's strange. I would if I was a really, really big fan of somebody, I might pay like the $5 to like subscribe so that I don't get ads and stuff.
I think that is understandable and way more normal for people to do.
But to just jump in and be like, man, that was a really cool play. Here's $5.
Are you gonna say my little message here?
Yeah, say my message.
Here's $100. I love you guys so much.
$5 donation from Buttfuck69. Yeah. Hey, how you doing, man? All right. Anyway, just get back to playing. Like
they said my name. That means we're friends.
Right?
We're
you don't feel.
Now.
I mean, it's just a bunch of sad people, man.
It's an attempt at connection.
Yeah.
With people that you admire usually.
Yeah.
And you gotta touch some grass, my friend.
You gotta touch some grass.
You really gotta touch some grass. Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of grass, do you know the playing field in New Orleans? Is it grass or is it turf? AstroTurf.
I believe it's grass.
Okay.
But it is in a dome.
It is in a dome, so it might be hard for them to maintain grass.
Yeah. So maybe it's turf.
That'd be disappointing. Too many injuries on turf.
Yeah.
I don't like turf.
Yeah.
You see the little pellets when they fall down?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
It's bad.
Don't like it.
Yeah.
Microplastics.
Yeah. Hopefully Kendrick Lamar won't have to worry about that when he's performing at the Super Bowl halftime show this year.
Yeah.
But he might.
He might.
Who knows?
Yeah.
It was announced very recently, Kendrick Lamar going to be headlining in New Orleans. And for the uninitiated, everyone was like, cool, Kendrick Lamar's big star. He's got some big songs.
Had a huge moment this year.
Yeah. He was all over the news. We all talked about the beef and everything. We had a whole podcast episode about it.
Oh, yeah.
And then came the weird conversation around if it was going to be a rapper headlining the Super Bowl, why isn't it the most famous rapper from New Orleans, Lil Wayne?
Birdman. What? Oh.
And then that conversation started, and then it kind of it just kind of hit the ground running, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And all these people had opinions about it. Some people were like, okay, let's just first talk about the people who thought Lil Wayne should be the headliner.
Yeah. Juvenile.
Yeah. Mostly Young Money, Cash Money.
Cash Money, yeah.
And then Drake fans and Lil Wayne fans, mostly.
Yeah.
And their whole point was, again, if you're going to have a rapper headline the Super Bowl, why not pick a guy who's actually from there?
Right. And the argument was that last season we had it in LA, so we had
the West Coast thing.
West Coast thing happen,
but also Eminem
and
Mary J. Blige.
And Mary J. Blige.
So that kind of falls flat. But and 50 Cent was also not from LA.
Sure.
So really, it was just Dr. Dre.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg was there too.
And Snoop Dogg, that's right. Yeah. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, who were from. One guy's from Compton, and then one guy's from
LBC.
Long Beach, California. So, yeah, neither one of those are LA.
It's true.
Anyway, you got all these people who are like, how come it's not Lil Wayne? I haven't seen Lil Wayne say anything yet as of this recording. He hasn't said anything.
I have a little theory here.
Okay.
I think Kendrick will bring him out.
Yes.
It seems like there's a lot of pressure there. It seems like he is a savvy enough artist to see where the wind's blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he would do it.
I mean, I don't know if Lil Wayne would do it, because that would effectively be him saying, like, I've chosen sides.
Like, it's fine, yeah.
He would be explicitly saying, like, I don't care, but he would also be explicitly telling Drake and Nicki Minaj, I guess, by extension, that, like, he's chosen sides in this beef. Because that thing is certainly not over.
Right.
The bad blood. In fact, right before we started recording, Kendrick had released a new song on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I don't even really, we listened to it kind of like
Passively.
half-assed. Yeah. But it sounded like he was kind of saying, like, I'm not engaging in this beef any longer.
The party's over.
Yeah, basically. So, I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen to it again and really dissect it and try to understand it. But that's kind of what it seemed like, is that he's not really engaging with this thing anymore.
Felt like an epilogue.
So, you got all those people on that side who are just incensed with anger.
Yeah.
Because Lil Wayne, of all people, is not headlining the Super Bowl.
Sure.
I mean, no mention to the fact that almost never has the hometown artist, or rather, where they are playing, they haven't picked a hometown artist.
Right.
Almost never.
Yeah.
The last time they did it was the fucking LA one, and then before that, never.
Yeah.
Actually, never.
Yeah.
Never. There's a whole chart that I looked at, and it's never been a thing.
It's never been a thing.
Even when they've had rappers.
It's a cool idea.
It is a cool idea, yeah.
Unless you're like, I don't know, in Indianapolis or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? No offense, but, you know.
So now you get to the other side of the coin of people who are like, of course it's Kendrick Lamar. He was the biggest rapper in the world right now. He's one of the biggest artists in the world. I mean, unless they pick like Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah.
To do it.
Well, he had a huge year. Like, I think if we like do the with like a yearbook of 2024, Kendrick Lamar is like on the front cover.
Right.
Unanimous. It doesn't make sense otherwise. So I think it's a perfect fit for this stage.
Yeah. And not for nothing, but I've seen a lot of people saying that
Name 5 Kendrick Lamars.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But Lil Wayne as a performer, I've seen a lot of people saying, like, listen, you don't want Lil Wayne to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. Lil Wayne's not that good live. And I don't know. I've never seen Lil Wayne live, so I'm not going to say this from a personal standpoint. Sure. I have seen his live performances on like YouTube and on TV and stuff. And, you know, he's just there. He's just kind of up there rapping, which is, you know, not terrible, but for the Super Bowl halftime show, you want a little bit more than that. And I have seen Kendrick Lamar live twice, and I saw the Big Stepper stuff, and that is a show that is geared towards like a big stadium thing. Like, you know, you could say that I'm biased. I am clearly more of a fan of Kendrick Lamar than of Lil Wayne or Drake.
Me too.
But
let it be known.
But the show, but you just have to like. But it's just true. It's just true. He puts on a better show.
But that's not to say
puts on a bigger show.
I don't dislike Lil Wayne.
No, I love Lil Wayne.
We grew up with Lil Wayne.
Yeah, like, it's this. And that's another thing that people were like using one guy or the other to disparage the other guy. Like Lil Wayne and you don't have to.
You can appreciate both.
Yeah,
it's okay.
And like Nicki Minaj, all her tweets, and like one of the tweets was like,
she was mad.
She was very, very upset. And one of the tweets I really took umbrage with was like her making it seem like Lil Wayne doesn't get his flowers, and you know, you gotta respect the legends while they're here because you don't want to give them their flowers too late. And it's like, okay, number one, Lil Wayne is considered by many people to be the greatest rapper of all time.
He called it himself,
right?
And people said, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
Greatest rapper alive.
So he is already in many circles
He's
considered to be a GOAT.
What are you talking about?
And number two, he gets his flowers all the time.
Yes.
Anytime he gets brought up, people talk about how good he is. Not even just like people who put them on their GOAT list, but I haven't seen anybody disrespect Lil Wayne.
Who, like, genuinely asking. I haven't heard anyone say that Lil Wayne is trash or like he doesn't deserve the acclaim, the fame, the big hits he's had.
Yeah.
Nobody says that.
No one says that. I mean, other than obviously, haters on the internet, but they say
Sure.
that about everybody. So
But,
it's like the consensus opinion is that he is
Yes.
one of, if not the greatest rapper of all time.
Yes.
So he gets his flowers.
Absolutely.
And then also,
What are we talking about here?
what are we talking about? What are we talking about? And on top of that, are you saying that Kendrick doesn't deserve his flowers?
Right.
Kendrick has put out what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 albums at this point. If he stopped rapping at this point, I would consider him one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
He would definitely be in my top 10, maybe even top 6, 7.
He hasn't dropped a bad album yet.
So
Not a single one.
why can't Kendrick get his flowers while he's alive?
Right. Well, it's this artificial idea that it needs to be regional based on where the event is being held.
Yeah, and they have had the Super Bowl in New Orleans
11
multiple
times.
times.
11 times.
11
I looked it up.
times.
It's 11 times.
And there was at one, I believe, was like 2012 or 2013, when it would have been extraordinary to pick him as the headliner, because
Prime.
that's when he was like, yeah. So at this point, it really is interesting to be, and it all is stemming from the beef. It is. Kendrick has had a monster year with his tour, with his album coming out, and still promoting the album. I think the album
concert.
came out like 2022, but the concert itself, the show,
Yeah.
Big Steppers tour has been a resounding success. And then obviously the stuff with Drake has pushed him to kind of like the stratosphere in this year alone. But to say that someone like Kendrick didn't deserve the spot, I will say, okay, both of these things are true.
Yeah.
Kendrick deserves to perform at the Super Bowl. He's Pulitzer Prize winning, multiple Grammys, multiple streaming awards, multiple billion streaming songs.
Yeah.
He is a massive star. Is Drake a more financially successful star? Sure. Did the beef with Drake draw eyes and attention to Kendrick in a year that maybe he wouldn't have because he doesn't have any music out other than the beef with Drake? Yes.
Yeah.
Those things are all true. To say that Kendrick doesn't deserve this spot and is only getting it because of the beef is not true. That's just untrue. He's done enough to... He could have headlined the LA one last year by himself.
Oh, sure.
Instead of just coming out and being like he could have done that one by himself.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes back to the infuriating nature of talking hip hop in 2024 and beyond. You just can't do it realistically anymore. People they're not having real conversations. It's just they get so angry and they talk in absolutes so much that like Kendrick is either
The best or the
overrated
worst.
or he's the worst rapper of all time or he's the best rapper of all time. And there's no way to like have these. And it's the same thing with Drake. It's like you can't. You just can't have realistic conversations anymore.
Well, and that's the thing is like it's a lot like politics, honestly.
Yeah.
But I feel like there is a silent majority here that does enjoy both and can enjoy both, and just doesn't feel so inspired as to defend their points on the internet. So we're hearing a lot, like we're hearing the angriest of both sides of this entire conversation.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like I'm hopeful that the vast majority of people feel like we do, which is you can like Kendrick and you can like Drake. You can like Kendrick and you can like Lil Wayne. Mm-hmm. You can think they, like any of those artists, are worthy of that stage. But at the end of the day, you got to pick.
Right.
And the choice was made. And I think the choice is valid to be Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
It just makes perfect sense, to me at least. Now, I want to ask you one more thing on this. I don't know the information on this. You may not either, but I've seen a lot of people pointing the finger at Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because
Is he in control of that decision making? Because it seems like people are saying that.
he is not in control of picking the artist. So he is in control of the Super Bowl halftime show. He signed a deal with the NFL, and he kind of runs their entertainment department, basically. Rock Nation, which he owns. Rock Nation is, the touring side and also like the management side of his business, I guess. And basically, before people got a little bit more informed about the situation, everyone was saying that Jay-Z chooses who performs at the Super Bowl halftime show, which is not true. Jay-Z and a team of people choose basically a short list of people that they think would be good for the show. And then the town picks who they want.
Interesting.
Now, to that effect...
The host town.
The host city.
Okay.
So to that effect, if Jay-Z did not put Lil Wayne on the list, maybe you could blame Jay-Z a little bit for not thinking about Lil Wayne or not thinking that he was capable of doing the show. I'm just being devil's advocate here a little bit. Yeah. If people are going to blame Jay-Z, that is the only situation in which it would be his fault, is if he didn't put him on the list. Right. But at the same time, if the town of New Orleans felt that Lil Wayne was such a strong candidate and that they felt like he would represent the town and he would be a good halftime show, it's not like they're not forced to listen to Jay-Z or Rock Nation. They can just pick who they want.
They have ultimate say.
Yeah. It all has to go through the proper channels and everything. If New Orleans as a city, or the Saints, or the state government of Louisiana decided like they wanted Lil Wayne to perform, then they probably would have to go back to the NFL and say, we see your list, we see that Lil Wayne is not on it, we kind of want Lil Wayne to perform. And then I'm sure that the NFL would be like, okay, I mean, if you guys want fucking Lil Wayne, fine.
Yeah, I mean, I just, after seeing some people mainly putting Jay-Z in the crosshairs for this entire thing, my first thought is like, why wouldn't he want Lil Wayne?
Yeah, so people have this thing, and this is mostly from fucking Nicki Minaj, by the way.
Yeah.
This thing where there's this unexplained or unspoken beef between Lil Wayne and Jay-Z. Now, I will say, as a historian of sorts of hip hop
historian,
they definitely had a little back and forth. They had their little friendly tiff and stuff. They would send subliminals to each other for sure.
It's part of hip hop, though.
Yeah, but they have always had a friendly rivalry kind of thing. Lil Wayne would rap on his beats. Sometimes he would rap on them better than he did. I mean, Show Me What You Got. He kind of just loses his mind on that. Yeah. But Jay-Z would send his little shots to him too, and it always was like a friendly rivalry. But there is that video that resurfaced because of all this, of him 2018-ish, and he's on stage and he's thanking all these people who behind the scenes have helped him out. One of those people was Jay-Z. Yeah. And then people dug and they found the IRS documents wherein Jay-Z paid like somewhere in the neighborhood of like $15 million in taxes that Lil Wayne owed.
Damn.
That Jay-Z paid them and then didn't go around saying like, I paid his taxes. He just did it. Yeah. And he told Lil Wayne like, don't tell anybody that I did this. And Lil Wayne was like, even on stage, he was like, he doesn't want me talking about this, but he helped me with my taxes. So to say that Jay-Z has it out for Lil Wayne is just like, where are the facts? And now people are going, you know what? Jay-Z's also a pedophile. And you're like, wait, what? And now they're going back to like Foxy Brown days and like, the age disparity between him and Beyonce is it's troubling. There are things to be said about Jay-Z.
Well, famously, 50 Cent said after Diddy got done in that Jay-Z was next.
Right. So, but that's not the conversation that we're having right now. And that's the conversation that people want to push it towards. Like, it's just so funny. Everyone's like, and why are we listening to this guy anyway? He's a fucking pedophile. And you're like, oh, wait, I thought we were talking about the Super Bowl. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So, so that's where that stems from. But
I see. Okay.
He's part of a committee that chooses artists that they think would work.
I see.
And then New Orleans decides who they want to perform.
Right.
And I'm sure that
It's like the college football voting for the playoff.
Yeah. It's a consensus, and I am sure that New Orleans as a city was probably like, we will just let them use their best judgment and pick somebody.
Yeah.
So again, not to say we don't know, we're not on these board meetings, but I can only assume that the city of New Orleans is not like super well versed in hip hop or pop culture.
Sure.
So they probably were like, listen, the NFL has an entire department that chooses this kind of shit. Let's just let them choose. And if Rock Nation decided, let's go with Kendrick because he's having like a monster year and this would be a good way to cap it off and people would be really into it. And you also have to think, when he did that pop-out thing on Amazon, you know that they looked at those numbers and were like, holy shit.
Absolutely.
And,
Definitely.
And that was a good show. And just look at that show. Just look at that show and tell and really look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself and tell me that wasn't an incredible show, that you wouldn't want to see that at the fucking halftime.
Not to mention with like relatively nothing.
Yeah, just walking back and forth on a pretty bare stage.
Yeah, that's it.
Just performing.
Right.
And just committing the stuff that he says, like the density of his lyrics and being able to perform some of the songs that he performs. I mean, it's fucking. I mean, he had put out Not Like Us, and then like a week later they did this pop out thing.
Yeah.
And he does the song like 6 times.
Yeah.
And you're like, this guy. I mean,
This guy,
he's
got something going on.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
There are people who would have been excited to see a Young Money reunion.
Yeah.
I, for one, am one of those people who is excited about the prospect of a Black Hippie reunion. So, I don't know. Apples and oranges, I guess, at that point.
Sure.
So, it's silly where we're at with that.
Something less silly
Way less silly.
is what's recently happened with the band known as Linkin Park. Obviously, coming back from tragedy. Let's not get into that because we might not be able to have this on YouTube.
Yeah.
We lost Chester too young.
Mm-hmm.
And so Linkin Park, the rest of the bandmates took a bit of a hiatus. But there were rumblings the entire time that they were going to come back in some form, some way. And, a lot of fans that were asking for that, really. And so they did. They had a timer on their website for about a week or so, and then people were waiting for it to come down, and then it finally ended, and then just restarted.
Which I thought was hilarious.
Hilarious. Very mean, but hilarious. But it was all leading up to the announcement of their new lead singer, Emily Armstrong, who apparently was in her own band, separate from Linkin Park, but
Dead Sarah.
Yeah, Dead Sarah did some tryouts for them apparently, and did well enough that they're like, okay, you're our new lead woman in this band, the singer, and so they had a big coming out party for the band Linkin Park moving forward, doing some new songs, a lot of the classic hits. And then I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think within the next day or so, I forget who was it. One of the Mars Volta leads?
The lead singer, Cedric,
right, came out with his partner to say, "Hey, by the way, Emily Armstrong is a terrible person.
Yeah,
she's a Scientologist." Who defended Danny Masterson.
Well, just to amend it just slightly, they had called her out already years
Before
ago.
this. Yes,
and then reposted the call out to say, like, this is the reality of what's happening.
And the reason being that Cedric's partner was assaulted, allegedly, by Danny Masterson. So I saw a lot of people initially respond to this like, oh yeah, these people are just coming out of the woodwork. Blah, blah, blah. Like, no, this has been consistent. The messaging has been consistent.
Well, and you know, what would be the motivation for quote unquote coming out of the woodwork?
Just to bring down Linkin Park a peg.
For what? Who is thinking about Linkin Park at this point is a legacy act with enough music in the can to tour on their greatest hits alone for the rest of their careers.
Sure. Yeah,
they could be doing stadium shows with other like punk, pop punk, emo punk bands.
Well, they had the lead singer of Sum 41 covered some of their stuff. I think.
They did?
I think.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think they had someone.
And
I'm gonna look that up.
So they could have just rested on. I'm doing the Trump hands again.
That's
they
fine.
could have just.
It's hard not to.
Because this right here, I get it.
It's that Trump derangement.
It really does. It really does make a good point. Look at that. Look at those hands. Look at those large hands. They're massive hands. Anybody that tells you these are small hands, they've never seen big hands because these are big hands.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
I mean, you can continue if you like.
No.
Yeah, Derek Whibley, the lead singer of Sum 41, performed with Linkin Park in the past and did a really good job.
Did a bang up job.
Yeah.
So they are a legacy band at this point who could rest on their laurels.
Yeah.
Instead, they had the motivation and the drive to come back and do something new with a new singer.
And it seems like largely pushed by Mike Shinoda in particular as the co-head of this band. He seems to be kind of the spokesperson. Yeah. Really, because he's the one who's been...
I mean, he's always been the voice of the band.
For sure. Like, that's not new.
Yeah, he's always been he's basically the leader of the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
But without having the lead singer there, it's not Linkin Park anymore.
Right.
So clearly they needed to make a decision, but the fact that they either didn't do their research on who Emily Armstrong is or did their research and decided that it wasn't a big enough deal for them to disqualify her is troubling to me as a fan of Linkin Park. Is troubling.
Okay, so first, how big of a fan are you of Linkin Park?
Huge.
Okay.
Huge massive fan. I mean, it's one of those bands that I grew up with that is like as cringe as it is to have been a Linkin Park fan while also being a hardcore hip hop fan at the time. I would stand on Linkin Park.
Stand on it.
10 toes.
10 toes.
You know, judge me if you will. I love Linkin Park,
and they will.
Always have, always will.
No, I love Linkin Park too.
Yeah.
So Andy is also a massive fan of Linkin Park.
Yeah.
So we had been kind of keeping up with this thing a little bit, and when it was finally announced, we kind of first of all, there was rumors, right? Like you mentioned before.
Yeah.
And she had done some songs, and there were people saying I think they're going to replace Chester with a female singer because really it's Chester and then a woman with a higher register that can hit the notes that he hits. That's really the only way to hit those notes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the rumors have been swirling for a while, and then they finally announce her. And then, you go back and you look at some of her performances and stuff, and it just leaves a little bit to be desired for if you're like a big Linkin Park fan. You're like, I don't know if it's there. And then she gets announced, and then you kind of have to just accept it. It's like, okay, well, let's see what direction they go in with the new band, this new makeup, because it's her, and then I think they have a new drummer, I believe. So the band is not the OG lineup,
the full original lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you have to reckon with that. You hear the new single. I wasn't a big fan of the new single. Doesn't really sound like a Linkin Park song to me. Just kind of sounds like a power punk song that I'm kind of like, eh. And I think, honestly, Chester is a big part of that. I think that what he brought to Linkin Park was kind of like a a glue that you don't really understand until it's missing.
Gone. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
because,
it all
like,
kind of falls apart.
the power in his voice, because there are other bands that could perform Linkin Park songs and sound cringy doing it because they don't have the chops, you know.
Yeah.
They and the sincerity that Linkin Park
And
brought.
that's exactly what I found initially missing with having anyone replace Chester Bennington.
Yeah.
Is that and this is actually something that's been brought up with, funny enough, the band Journey.
Yeah.
With Steve Perry not performing anymore, they had a contest actually. To replace him.
Yeah.
And they found a Filipino guy who is really good. Like, he sounds great, and he sounds almost pitch perfect. But I've heard this argument that, like, and it may just be in your own head, but take it for what you will. There is a lack of, like, feeling behind the singing, that, like, you're missing the earnestness, you're missing the pain behind the lyric, especially with a band like Linkin Park. Obviously, a guy like Chester Bennington went through a lot and had a lot of trauma in his life that influenced his lyrics, and without that, it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
And you can't replicate that.
Right.
What I would have preferred as a massive Linkin Park fan is if they would have renamed the band and come out with something new, and, you know, they can cover Linkin Park songs as this new band, but, you know, just at least paid enough respect to be like, Linkin Park is done. The chapter is over. The book is closed.
Yeah.
We're going to restart as something else with a lot of the same elements. And, hey, if you like Linkin Park, you may dig this too, but we're going to go in a different direction. I would feel far less conflicted about this if that were the case.
Agreed completely.
I mean, that's without the Emily Armstrong controversy within that.
Which we'll get back into in a second.
Sure.
But agreed. And that's what I've been saying from the beginning, is if you can't replace Chester, and what he brings to Linkin Park is something irreplaceable, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to bring somebody new in, just rename the band, because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
When you try to replace, there are certain elements of a band that you can replace because there are serviceable musicians that can play those parts. And it never sounds the same, but you can get away with it.
Yeah.
But the singer of a band is, I believe, near impossible to replace, because there's just something about that being the only, first of all, that being the only vocal part of the song.
In most bands.
Yeah. But not just that, but, like, people fall in love with that too. Musicians fall in love with guitar tones and rhythm sections and how tight drummers and bassists are, and
Sure.
But casual fans fall in love with the first voice that they hear. That's like when you watch Queen tour with Adam Lambert. Adam Lambert is an incredible singer.
Oh, yeah.
But he's not fucking Freddie Mercury. And even if he was a better singer technically, and he probably is as far as technique is concerned.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why, what did Rage do when Zach left? They brought in Chris Cornell
Yeah.
and did Audio
Audioslave, yeah.
Right?
A completely different band,
But
a different sound.
Right. And I think Linkin Park kind of cut themselves off at the knee by not changing their name, because now it's like, now you got to do Linkin Park shit, when you could have brought this girl in and done whatever you wanted as a different band.
Right.
Now, to get back to the Emily Armstrong stuff, the controversy itself,
Yeah.
I've seen, she did respond because she had to.
Of course.
And she basically said in her statement that she stands with victims of SA, and that when she was there showing support to Danny Masterson, it was before she knew the details of everything that he had done. And then once she found out those details, she promptly rescinded her support and didn't show up anymore after that.
Sure.
Now, a lot of people are basically calling bullshit on that because
yeah.
she's still apparently a Scientologist. And
Right.
that's
and that inherent, and I have to call us a little bit of hypocrites because we love our Tom Cruise. However,
yeah, but he didn't. You know
I know,
what?
I know. But
He
I'm
may
saying,
be a strange being,
I'm
but
saying, the problem is with Scientology, and I'm a very live and let live person, but Scientology it has been exposed to be inherently destructive and oppressive, and a system in which people are allowed to do things they shouldn't do.
yeah.
So that's my issue. If you're a Scientologist who doesn't abide by those things, God bless you, or
Whatever.
alien bless you. I don't know. Do whatever makes you happy. I'm not here to judge in that aspect.
Unless you're
but
Danny Masterson.
if you're doing Danny Masterson stuff, then I will judge you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just the way it is.
I see what you're saying. And if TC was involved in any kind of cover-up of stuff like that, it would be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I would have to treat him the same way I treat any other person
Absolutely.
involved. And
I would still love the art. I wouldn't love the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as it stands, he's just a weirdo.
That's fine. He's short. He got his teeth fixed, and he likes jumping out of planes. That's all
Right,
all I know.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys come and hit us with any facts that we're not aware of.
He fumbled Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, fumbled Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. So, with Emily Armstrong, excuse me. I don't know, man. To your point about Tom Cruise, if what she's saying is true, I don't know. I mean, I just find it hard to believe that she didn't know. And even harder, well, it's easier to believe that she didn't believe the victims.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that she didn't know.
Yeah.
As a person who is if she's a Scientologist and she's a celebrity, Scientology really props up celebrities as like these beacons.
I mean, she's no Tom Cruise, obviously.
Right, but
So-
she's at least a notable person.
Yeah.
And Scientologists, if you read a little bit about how they treat celebrities, they're like, you can go out there and you can basically spread the gospel
Absolutely,
of
yeah.
Scientology.
Yeah.
So they really like when they have celebrities that buy in.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Right,
It's
right.
just, it's good PR. you know?
Exactly. And so I just really, really find it hard to believe that she was unaware of all this stuff until she showed up and
In
then
court.
heard testimony.
Right.
I don't know, man. I just
No.
don't believe her.
There's no way.
So that's really my biggest beef with this whole thing is like being a Scientologist does not inherently make you an evil person.
No.
But I just don't believe that she didn't know and then was made aware and then was like, well, I certainly can't stand for this.
It's what they all say, though. It's what they all say and do. You saw the same thing with Mila Kunis and what's his nuts? Ashton Kutcher. Thank you very much.
I knew his name. I was drinking.
Yeah. That's always my excuse. Yeah, you see with everyone who did defend him, that's now having egg in their face is like, yeah, he was our friend, and we could. That's not the guy we knew, and
Yeah.
Well,
with them in particular, they didn't want to believe it because he was their friend. I don't think they're not Scientologists, are they?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, they are?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think I don't want to disparage the great name of Ashton Kutcher.
The good name of Ashton and Mila Kunis.
I'll do some research. Okay. But
Well,
yeah.
okay. So let's say that they are. Then yeah, okay, I get that. But if they aren't, then I can assume that they were like, we don't want to believe that our friend did this stuff,
Right.
even though there was a mountain of evidence.
Right.
Are they?
I'm gonna look up this article on thetab.
Thetab.com.
Wait, are Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher actually Scientologists?
Are they actually Scientologists?
I feel like I'm gonna have to scroll a lot.
Okay,
on
you
this one.
skim a little bit. So let's just say this. Let's just state the facts. He was charged and indicted. He got 30 years to life.
I did nothing wrong.
Did nothing wrong.
They indicted me.
He also needs to be indicted.
It's true. Okay, quick correction. According to thetab.com,
The tab.
despite being photographed at the Scientologist church during the event, I don't know which event.
The event, Adam, obviously.
The annual Christmas Stories event in Hollywood Police Activities League.
Oh.
Where Danny
Okay.
practiced his faith.
Right.
Despite that, Ashton has never publicly identified as a Scientologist or denied involvement with Scientology himself. So, question mark.
Jury's still out.
Yes.
Okay.
He neither confirms nor denies.
If he doesn't deny it, then he is. There's no reason to not deny it. It's just, if you can't say I'm not in it, then there's no reason, then you are. As far
Right.
as I'm concerned, let's be adults here. If you can't just say I'm not a Scientologist, then you're a fucking Scientologist. So, okay. For all intents and purposes, let's just say that they are, because they probably are.
They're at least
we don't know.
They're at least associated with Scientology.
Right.
They may not be Scientologists. They're not confirmed Scientologists.
But allegedly.
They are at least, parallel to Scientology.
Right. They're Scientologists. But
Okay.
they're not.
Allegedly.
Who knows? Allegedly.
Don't sue us.
So
We're too close to Clearwater. We can't be talking to this.
yeah, so again, it's hard for me to believe that they didn't know what was going on.
They
and
did.
you're right. And then they had to deal with the fallout of pretending like they didn't know and then finding out later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh no. She'll be all right. We'll be done in 10 minutes. You think she's going to pee on herself in 10 minutes?
Sherry sent me a note that says Celine has to go pee-pee.
Yeah. So it's the pretending like we don't know what's going on, and that's really the part that is like fucking these people up, right?
Yeah.
Like Mike Shinoda and company, to pretend like they didn't know that she had said that she had stood in support of this person, whether it was one day, a week, or the whole trial. You have to know that the fallout is coming. Especially because Cedric and his wife, Chrissy Brixler, I believe.
Yeah.
They very
Good
publicly.
recall. Good recall. It's good.
They very publicly admonished her.
Yeah.
When she did it, right?
Yeah.
So as rock and roll peers, you would think that all you got to do is Google
I was
her
just
name.
going to say you can do a quick Google search. That's all you got to do.
Oh, come
You
on.
don't got to dig very deep, which leads me to believe that they knew.
They knew, and they let it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. At this point, they haven't kicked her out of the band or anything.
Right. Well, and I should say it's extra damning because of the nature of Chester Bennington's death.
Right.
Like, Scientology is denying the benefits of mental health care.
Right.
And then, to replace him with someone who was, or maybe continues to be, part of that belief system,
Right.
is tough.
And there are things that he went through in his personal life that directly relate to what.
Danny Masterson.
Yeah. And it's like, to replace him with somebody like that is
Slap
like
in the
just-
face.
Yeah,
It's
very insulting.
It was
so.
a bad choice.
Yeah, it was a bad choice. And to be kind of superfluous and superficial about it, she can't hit his notes.
No.
She don't sound that good.
That was the first thing. Like, obviously, first things first. Without knowing anything about her, watching that initial performance, extremely underwhelming.
Yeah.
Her voice was giving out.
Yeah.
Like, she couldn't
She
keep
can't hit the notes that he hit. She just flat out can't do it.
For one concert. She could for her coming out party. She couldn't do it.
He toured on that shit.
Right.
Did thousands of dates.
Yes.
She couldn't do it for one night.
And how can we believe that she can maintain that over a tour.
Right.
Let alone a world tour.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
And there's like, well, she's obviously, you know, Chester's irreplaceable and she's not good. She can't even fucking sing songs. Don't perform the old Linkin Park songs if she can't do them.
No. I'm sorry. It's a no for me.
It's a no for me, dog.
Okay.
Get real pitchy there, dog.
Yeah. Don't like it.
Don't like it.
Don't like it. Don't
like
approve of it. That being said, let's go into something a little bit more positive.
Yes.
Let's. Okay.
Upswing, baby.
Yes.
It's time for the cheers of the week. So, Adam, what's your cheers, brother?
My cheers of the week goes to Rebel Ridge.
Rebel Ridge.
Netflix's own Rebel Ridge.
Well, what's your deal, bro?
We're wrapping it up. Wait, what do you want? Okay. Yeah. I love Rebel.
Me?
Me?
Not me.
What would I do?
All of this?
No, my choice is Rebel Ridge, starring Aaron Pierre, who in this film I think this year has the best star-turning performance.
Star-turning performance.
He is so good in this film as a guy I don't remember ever seeing before. And from what I understand, he was a late addition to the movie, which is even more impressive.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, so they apparently, they had already filmed a lot of the movie, and they brought him in. So, I mean, count me impressed, my friends. I think this is a great, just old school, kind of middle tier action movie that is obviously inspired by Rambo. Actually, I should say First Blood in particular. And it's just really, it's just really good action. It's just good. Just a good stick to your ribs kind of film. And I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
So I'm not going to say more. We may review it. We may not.
Yeah.
But
we'll come back to it if we don't actually review it. We can talk about it just on the show.
I highly recommend it, especially if you're still holding on to your Netflix version, because there's not much else to see on there sometimes. Right. Rebel Ridge.
Excuse me.
Beautiful.
Cheers
Love
to
it.
that, my friend.
Yes.
My cheers of the week is another installment of the new music that's come out that I'm digging. So I think I might come up with some kind of name for it or something in the future.
Okay.
Sound kind of like new music cheers or
Yeah.
some stupid shit.
The new moves.
The new moves.
New Muse.
New
Muse. Mew
So,
mew. Meow meow.
meow. MJ Lenderman, very, very great.
I feel like you made that guy up.
I didn't. He's a real person, or he could be me. No, he's
Marco Duberman.
he's been. No, this is what is fourth or fifth album as MJ Lenderman. He's the guitarist of the band Wednesday. He's done a couple of solo projects. They're kind of like alt country kind of stuff.
Okay.
His new album, Manning Fireworks, is great. If you're into that kind of sleazy, slow, kind of sing-songy, telling stories, country music that's not pop country, just kind of cool and kind of dirty, and Zach Bryan kind of stuff, and kind of Sturgill and that kind of deal.
Alternative country.
Yeah. MJ Letterman's new album, Manning Fireworks, is great. Torre Moi has come out with a new album, Whole Earth. If you haven't listened to that, it's definitely a departure from his earlier stuff. It's not really a chill wave, all dancey kind of thing. It's closer to trap, pop punk, hip hop. It's kind of all over the place. I wouldn't really call it. I'm not gonna put it on my list of best albums of the year, but I do like some of the stuff that it's a fun listen.
This is his second release this year, from what I know.
This year?
I think so.
I think so. I think so. I don't know. Let's see.
Could be.
Did he put anything else out this year?
Could be.
Well, Mahal came out in 2022. Is that the one you're thinking of? Then he put out. He came back with the Anything in Return instrumentals.
Oh. I could be mistaken.
Either way.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
Distracted.
That's okay. Don't ever do it again.
Okay.
And then last but not least, Heems of Das Racist fame, has come out with his actually second album of 2024, Vina.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yes, that's yeah. So, a couple of new albums that have come out that I'm really, really digging. A$AP Rocky's put out a couple of singles that are really dope. I'm really excited about his album.
Yes.
Blue has put out a couple of singles for his new album. Blue and Exile are doing another album together, and those singles have been fucking really, really good.
Yeah.
So, quietly, 2024 has been a really, really good year for music. There's been a lot of really good albums that have come out in pretty much every genre.
Yeah. I agree.
Drug Church is about to come out with a new album. I think the Viagra Boys are coming out with a new album.
Hell yeah.
The lead singer of Black Midi has a new album that's coming out. You know, you've obviously got like big pop albums that have come out this year that have been really good. Hip hop has been, you know, again, quietly in a really good place, even though like the big guys haven't put out like huge bangers or anything. You still got Schoolboy Q, which I think is a top
That's great.
runner for album of the year.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of like good stuff that's come out that people aren't necessarily well versed in, but some good shit that's happening this year.
Yeah.
So new music has been good this week, and let's listen to some cool shit, brother.
Agreed.
All right.
Okay.
All right. One last thing before we get out of here, and that is reviewing these brewskis. So, tonight's beer was from Sierra Nevada, a collab with Gutmann. It's their Oktoberfest Festbier 2024. Obi, what'd you think?
I love this beer.
I love this beer.
I love this beer. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go crazy right now because I am a sucker for an Oktoberfest.
And we got more to do.
But I will give
this.
I will.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead.
Excuse
Do it. Okay.
I'm
speaking.
I'm
Excuse me.
I'm speaking.
Does that
Mr.
sound familiar?
Dupa.
Did you hear what he did?
Yeah.
That sound familiar?
That sound familiar?
You dick.
It's a little shit.
Fucking asshole.
I will give this a 5 out of 6 bottle caps.
Okay.
I think this is a very good, I would say great Oktoberfest beer. Yeah, very true to what an Oktoberfest should be. Excuse me.
Nice.
5 out of 6 bottle caps.
There you go. I think I'm going to agree with you. We're going to go unanimous. 5 out of 6.
Let's do it.
For the Oktoberfest Fest beer. We got a long ways to go. We kind of have to, you know, it's like when you do those blind lists of like a top 10.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is the first one. Do I want to put it number 1 yet? I don't know. I'm gonna go in the middle and say like there might be something better. There's definitely gonna be something worse because this was a great start to the season.
Absolutely.
5 out of 6.
Yeah.
For Oktoberfest. All right.
Yep.
Think we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, if Obi says we got it, then this episode is over. This has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer. Delicious beer.
Eat have your silver.
You eating.